Yo, what's up? So I might be a little late on this, but I don't think I'm too late. Just 2 days ago, Blizzard's co-lead, the one female that they put on their team to lead, has stepped down. So we're gonna go over a PC Gamer article talking about that, and then we're gonna go over another article talking about some of the current ramifications that we can already see just 2 days later. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into that real quick here. So we have Blizzard co-head Jen Oneal steps down just 3 months after taking the job. O'Neill is leaving Blizzard entirely at the end of the year. Former Blizzard president J. Allen Brack stepped down in August in the wake of the lawsuit filed by California's Department of Fair Employment and Housing alleging widespread discrimination and sexual harassment at the company. He was replaced by Mike Ibarra and Jen Oneal, who took over as co-heads of the studio, marking the first time that Blizzard had been led by a woman. Okay, so also note that J. Allen Brack didn't necessarily get accused of anything. I don't believe he was named any of the things, but he was in charge when some of these things happened. So that's kind of the reason for him stepping down. It's like, yeah, maybe it's not best that you stay there since all this happened kind of at least partially on your watch. Also, keep in mind that both of these people, I believe, at least Mikey Barra for sure, because he was from Microsoft. I also believe Jen Oneal was from like a sister company or like a separate company that was eventually uh, like taken or like bought out by Activision Blizzard. And so they were both kind of outside of this culture that existed within Blizzard. And so that was why it was kind of a good thing that they were both promoted and that they're going to be co-leads is you have very diverse perspectives from different teams that don't exist within Blizzard who's already having all of this like weird issues with sexual harassment. So that's kind of concerning that she's already stepping down. Just 3 months later, however, O'Neill has announced that she is stepping down from the role and leaving Blizzard entirely at the end of the year. Effective immediately, Mikey Barra will lead Blizzard. O'Neill said in a statement, "I'm doing this not because I'm without hope for Blizzard, quite the opposite. I'm inspired by the passion of everyone here, working towards meaningful, lasting change with their whole hearts. This energy has inspired me to step out and explore how I can do more to have games and diversity intersect, and hopefully make a broader industry impact that will benefit Blizzard and other studios as well. While I'm not totally sure what form that will take, I'm excited to embark on a new journey to find out." Okay, so immediately, I don't know if I necessarily just trust PR talk like this. Like, it could be that she's kind of jumping ship. I don't really know, but I think more likely is the idea that what she really wants is she wants to be some kind of consultant or operate in some similar capacity for companies and help them, specifically companies in the gaming like industry, uh, have this diversity and inclusion kind of stuff. I think she wants to work in that respect more than she cares about leaving Blizzard, right? I don't think this is my personal belief. Like, you guys can let me know down in the comments if you think I'm wrong or what you think the reason she's leaving is. But I'd say, based on her statement alone, I don't know anything else, that she wants to have like a bigger impact on the gaming industry. And to do that, I think she wants to teach other companies about diversity because diversity is a really, really, really big problem in the gaming industry specifically and probably across most industries, I'd guess. So it makes sense. This is what she is passionate about, and she sees a problem that maybe she has some answers to. Makes sense to me. Activision Blizzard leadership is supporting O'Neill's move with a $1 million grant in support of Women in Games International, a nonprofit organization dedicated to advancing diversity and equality in the industry. Oneal, who sits on the WIGI board, said that the money will fund skill building and mentorship programs. Okay, so already, so she's probably, if again, now we have more context, my guess would be she's now going to take a bigger role in this like a company or organization, I guess, nonprofit organization. So she's probably going to take a bigger role in that organization, and that's really the capacity that she wants to work in, which good for her. I'm glad. I think that this is an important thing, and I hope that it can actually make some changes within the industry. An Activision Blizzard representative confirmed that the $1 million grant will be funded and supported separately from the $18 million compensation fund the company agreed to establish in September. The reason that they have to say this is because this $18 million can this is the from the EEOC lawsuit, by the way. And what this is supposed to be for is for women who were affected by like misconduct and discrimination. But if there's too much, or like some women don't claim it, I guess there couldn't really be too much because the EEOC kind of calculated exactly how much they would need. But if there are some women who don't claim it for whatever reason, that could be so that they can continue prosecuting under the California lawsuit, or whatever the reason is that they don't accept it. The rest can be used to reinvest into the company to improve diversity, or like however that means. I guess the EEOC has to write off on that, or it can be used to donate to organizations such as this. And so they're saying that this is going to be separate. It's not like we're doing this and we're going to make it look good because we're doing this. Activision Blizzard is saying, nope, this is separate. And that's good. I know a lot of people are going to say $1 million isn't a lot for the company, but honestly, they didn't really have to do this. It does look good for them, so I understand why they're doing it. Of course, I always urge people to not really think of like a business as something that has emotions or has malice or is trying to help people. Like, I would not really usually think of a company that way. Maybe a nonprofit, it makes sense to think of that way, but not really something like Activision Blizzard, whose only goal is profit, really. And that's going to be the main goal of pretty much any company, is profit. So I always encourage people to think about companies in that way. And so when you're thinking about Activision Blizzard's reason for doing this, from a monetary perspective, it's likely that they think that this will help win back some of the public favor and possibly keep people from leaving their games, and maybe even help with some of the other issues that they're seeing, like massive stock drops and stuff like that. There's no overlooking the fact that her tenure lasted just 3 months and came to an end amidst ongoing turmoil at Blizzard, which currently announced a cancellation of the BlizzCon online event scheduled for February 2022, so it could focus on supporting our teams instead. But she said that Ibarra has been incredibly supportive throughout the process, and that the two of them have been working together to develop many of the actions we'll be taking to continue making Blizzard a safer, stronger, more inclusive workplace. Okay, so in the same sense that we don't want to treat companies necessarily usually like they have any kind of emotions or malice, we also don't really want to treat people like they only care about self-interest, right? A lot of people make decisions that might seem emotional, right? And I guess you could say it's self-interested, but it's not trying to better their like monetary position or their social position. They have like things that they care about, right? It seems like ONeill really truly cares about diversity, and from the limited things I've seen of Ibarra on like Twitter and his like other things that he's done within Microsoft and all the stuff that we read about before when we were going over like who's taking over for J. Allen Brack a long time ago, he seems like, just like a good all-around person, and she seems to think the same. So I'm going to believe, I don't have any reason to not believe the surface layer here, and I'm going to say that, yeah, she thinks that Ibarra is going to do fine. He cares about this stuff, and he's not really from this culture. He's from Microsoft, who has a completely different culture, and she wants to be a bigger role in like helping women. So to do that, she's probably going to take a bigger role here or do some other thing, because that's what she cares about. She cares about diversity. She cares about helping women, and she can't really do that from her position at Blizzard. And she kind of probably realized that, and I'm speculating heavily here, but I would guess that she realized that while she was, working like at the top level, going through all these issues with like the lawsuits and probably complaints and having to go through all that. I can only imagine how much like even Ibarra and her together had to go through. It must have been really, really hard. So it makes sense that if that's truly what she wants, that she realized that's what she wants, she's going to leave now. So I don't really feel a need to look deeper than that. Again, if you disagree with me, let me know down in the comments. But that's how I feel about it. Ibarra shared similar sentiment during investors call. I like to first recognize Oneal, who's been an incredible partner here at Blizzard. He said, though we all miss her greatly, we wish her all the best as we work with her on a plan to make an industry-wide impact through WIGI grant. I personally want to thank her for her leadership. Yeah, so, I mean, that's just, what else do you really say about your teammate leaving, right? And all three of us were the first women to ever serve in our specific roles, and we were also the most senior women in the company for our respective disciplines, all left this year. I don't know what that is even referring to. It seems like there's like a piece missing here. The departure has hit Blizzard morale hard, according to a source inside the company who spoke. We're going to talk about this later. There's another article here. Who spoke to PC Gamer, former Blizzard technical director Amy Dunham, who also announced her departure just yesterday. Okay. Yikes. Now we're seeing a trend. Okay, so before it's just one person, but now we're seeing a trend here. And now it starts to look like Blizzard still has a lot of issues, okay? So it's one thing if like a single person leaves. If you start seeing multiple people leave for similar reasons, that's when my alerts start going off and red flags start to show for me. I don't know. So Dunham pointed out on Twitter that the three most senior women at Blizzard all left this year. Jen leaving Blizzard is heartbreaking, wrote Dunham. I mean absolute love for her and her choice, and I genuinely respect the hell out of her. She's a world-class leader. She was also the one thing out of the entire year that made me hopeful for the company. And that's actually, I feel like that's something that I probably overlooked reading this, is for women working at the company, it probably meant a lot to have a woman leading Blizzard. Even as a co-lead, right? It probably meant a lot to those women. And the fact that she's stepping down is probably concerning to a lot of them. Even if she's not stepping down for any reason that's like, oh, I don't think Blizzard can do it. Even if we grant that she's stepping down for her own personal things, it probably still feels really bad for these women. And I didn't really consider that before, but I do think that could pose a problem. ONeill joined Blizzard in January as Executive Vice President of Development. Prior to that, she was studio head of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2 developer and Vicarious Visions. So yeah, that's where she was. She was at Vicarious Visions, which I believe Blizzard owns now. I don't really know their capacity. Either way, she wasn't part of the Blizzard original culture, and that's kind of what helped a lot with the situation. But her leaving, I can see how a lot of women leaving at the same time feels bad for the other women working at the company. So now we have this other article. Blizzard morale takes a hit following co-leader's surprise resignation. Activision Blizzard reported big earnings, but the consequences of high-profile exits may continue to manifest. On Tuesday, Activision Blizzard announced its financial results for the period that includes the July filing of California's discrimination and sexual harassment lawsuit and the immediate aftermath. The headline for investors is that the company's revenue outlook for the end of the year is weaker than analysts projected, but it beat its third quarter forecast with a net revenue of $2.07 billion, improving year over year with the help of Diablo 2 Resurrected. Okay, so this is actually a really, really important thing. I highly, highly, highly recommend all of you go watch Hoglaw's video about this, because Blizzard's stock actually dropped during this last filing, right? So like when people realize, oh, they're pushing back Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4, it's like, this is really, really bad. I think that this company is in a really hard spot. I'm going to sell. And that was a really, really big thing that caused, I mean, go watch Hoglaw's video again. It did cause a lot of kind of surprising issues for the company, right? If your stock drops, it's not looking good. But either way, let's continue. Finances felt like the call's secondary topic, however, as Activision Blizzard leaders reiterated plans to overhaul recruiting and HR practices. Of course, they're going to say that. I mean, what else are they going to say? And surprised employees with news that Blizzard co-leader Jen Oneal is stepping down. The resignation came as a shock, and according to some, has wounded morale at Blizzard just as it was starting to improve. And I'm actually going to even amend my statement earlier that it probably isn't just disheartening for women at Activision Blizzard. I'm sure that there are men or other minority groups within Blizzard who think that having more representation was far better for them, and now that there's less representation at the top because there was like male and female, potentially different like ethnicities, different, vastly different backgrounds, like right now there's only one, and so probably even for other people probably feels pretty bad. So the more I think about it, the worse it kind of seems to me. Last week, Activision Blizzard finally responded to a list of demands issued on July by the employees who organized a walkout. The company partially conceded to the demand to remove mandatory arbitration. So basically, instead of this, now they're going to have to go to court. Or I guess it's not, they don't have to go to court. There could probably still be optional arbitration. I don't know. From employment contracts, agreeing to strike it from individual sexual harassment and discrimination claims. Okay, so maybe only for these issues then? Among a number of other things, Activision Blizzard has also promised increased pay transparency, recruiting policies that foster diversity, and a zero tolerance harassment policy, which will result in immediate firing and forfeiture of future compensation. Okay, so let's talk about a few things here, right? Increased pay transparency. Yeah, I'm all about that. Companies should just tell you what the position that you're applying for just pays. I don't ever think it's a good idea for, as like a employee. As an employer, obviously hiding the salary of the position is really smart. As an employee, I don't ever want to see a position that doesn't tell me how much I'm going to make. That really sucks, but regardless, makes sense. Recruiting policies that foster diversity. I don't really know how they're going to do that, because there's a lot of weird issues here, right? Like, it's illegal to reject or probably hire someone based on like gender, ethnicity, and stuff like that. So that makes it kind of weird. Like, how do you focus a recruiting policy around diversity, right? Do you just say, oh, we need more women, so we just only interview women? I don't really know what that means. I don't know how that works. Like, could they tell their recruiters, hey, specifically reach out to women? Like, I don't know. I don't know what this means. Okay. So I feel like they need to have more on this, or maybe there is more and it's just not included in this article, but I think there needs to be more. And a zero tolerance harassment policy, which will result in immediate firing and forfeiture of future compensation. Now, I don't know how this works. So if Bobby Kotick, I'm not accusing him of anything, but if he, under this new policy, were accused of harassment and was just immediately fired, although I guess since he's on the board, maybe it makes it a little bit different. Let's ignore that part. Like, does that mean, like, if it's before his bonus, he just doesn't get his bonus, even though he worked like most of the year? Let's say he get fired in like December. Like, I don't really know. That sounds good, right? Like, it's like, hey, normal employees, if they get fired, or if they quit or whatever, it doesn't, like, they're let go in some capacity, they get like up to this much more compensation. Like, but maybe this prevents that in some way. I don't know. A little confused there, to be honest. A source inside Activision Blizzard told PC Gamer this week that they witnessed an overall positive response to last week's announcement. The timing was seen as suspect. The demands were acknowledged just in time to become talking points during Tuesday's investor call. I mean, obviously, it's not. So I understand, like, if you're an employee, obviously, I'm all for unions, right? Or at least like employee organization. And it makes a lot of sense, in my opinion, that they're upset about like what, like with this. Of course they're going to accept these deals at this point, right? They tried to negotiate for too long and now they're out of time, or they just want to look good for investors or whatever. But on the other hand, I don't really know, like, I don't really think I would expect the company to do anything else. Again, if we think of them as some kind of emotionless like entity, they're only like, they're just going to do what probably makes them the most money, and that would be holding out until the last possible moment, right? So I don't know. It makes sense to me that this is what Activision Blizzard did. I can't imagine that they would have ever done anything different. But that's just me. I understand the frustration, but I also don't think it was ever an option for them to not do that. But the partial win on arbitration was seen as clear accomplishment, of course. Yeah, it's good on them. And the diverse recruiting policies reflect what individual Activision Blizzard teams have already been implementing without waiting for corporate mandate. One thing still seen as missing is third-party oversight of hiring and HR practices, including by a committee chosen by employees, but the mood leading into the earnings call was certainly better than it was following a mistrusted email from executive Franz Townsend earlier in October. We read that. Go watch that video. However, the news that Oneal is stepping down as Blizzard co-leader just 3 months after taking the role has killed any morale boost from last week's concessions. According to that employee, Oneal and Mikey Barr replaced former Blizzard boss Jay Allen Brack. Yeah, we talked about this, who exited in August in the aftermath of the California lawsuit. With Oneal's resignation, Barr is now Blizzard's sole leader. Okay. So I hope when they say it killed any morale, I hope they mean it killed their complacency, because I think employees should organize more often, and I hope this empowers these employees to organize even more, ask for, demand for more from the company until they get everything they want. That's what I hope. But we'll see what happens. I hope it doesn't mean that it killed their morale to even try anything else, because that would really suck. But I hope it makes them want to try even more to get more, done. For some, Oneal's leadership was one of the best reasons they had to believe in a better future for Blizzard, of course. They're now left wondering why Oneal would choose to leave so quickly, leading to speculation that something isn't being said. That is, of course, rumors are going to spread. Like I said, I don't really know. I don't work at the company. I've never met Oneal, so I can't really say, but it seems like she just wants to follow her passion. But it could be that she's like, hey, writing's on the wall, I'm out. Could be that I'm doing this not because I'm without hope. Oh yeah, we already read that. Already read this as well. Actually, former Blizzard technical director Amy Dunham, who also announced her departure this week, pointed out the Blizzard's three. Oh yeah, we already talked about it. What the heck? Before you make commitments to recruit more women, usually at entry level, where people have less choice to turn down opportunities. Absolutely true. Figure out and fix why all your senior women choose to leave. 100% agree. Why are your women leaving? Like, that's a weird issue to have, Activision Blizzard. Like, that's such a weird issue to have. Why are they doing that? If I had to guess, the reason is that they're finally in a position to remove themselves from the toxicity without having to worry about putting their lives and their families at like financial risk. And so they're finally at a position where like, yeah, I can just dip now, and they're like, I'm out. That's my guess. The past 3 months have been a number of other resignations as well. I've seen a number of other resignations as well. As over 20 departures from the result of HR investigations new. Yeah, we talked about that. Stricter policies, according to Tuesday's earnings report. The bottom line has been unscathed for now. That's actually amazing. How can I mean, actually, that's probably less amazing now that I think about it. It's probably gonna affect them way further in the future. Probably with the delays that they're seeing and a lot of other investing issues that they're having. Call of Duty's user base is holding steady on PC and console, while Call of Duty Mobile has seen double-digit growth in the West with a big jump in revenue. All right, Blizzard's revenue grew 20% year over year due to the release of Diablo 2 Resurrected. Hearthstone enjoys stable popularity, and World of Warcraft is on track to have the best non-expansion year of the decade. Okay, yeah, the reason it's a non-expansion year is because they released Burning Crusade Classic. I mean, it's just like we already know what you're pulling here. However, while Call of Duty Vanguard releases this month and the next big Warzone update will be released in December, it was revealed during earnings call that the next two big games from Blizzard are going to take longer. Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 didn't have public release dates, but we learned that their internal development timeline has been extended. Yep, probably because a lot of people are being fired, a lot of people are quitting, there's a low morale, people were striking, there's like a whole bunch of stuff going on here. And yeah, of course things are going to get delayed. Yeah, and that's really a massive issue for the company. Like, yeah, obviously. Activision Blizzard partially attributed the delays to the departures of company leaders. Diablo 4 game director. Oh yeah, like we talked about this too. Like like people were leaving, people were dropped, like there's crazy stuff going on. The corporate statement about ensuring a safe, productive work environment implied a connection. Overwatch executive producer Sony left Blizzard in September for reasons unrelated to the lawsuit back in April. Overwatch director Jeff Kaplan also left the company. Yeah, I mean, like literally all the best developers are just leaving the company. It's like, ah, man, all your women are leaving, all your good developers are leaving. What's going on here? Attrition isn't a new issue for Activision Blizzard. A former employee recently told PC Gamer that they witnessed waves of employees leaving voluntarily alongside the 2019 and 2020 layoffs. Beyond the Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 delays, other long-term consequences of the company's recent rate of employee turnover may still emerge. Yeah, anytime you see a company with high turnover, that's a red flag. You should probably think about working there if you can. Obviously, if you have to take the job, but you should think about it. Our opportunities for growth have never been better. Yeah, so the reason he's saying this is because they've also never dropped so low so quickly, so they can grow a lot more, I guess. But we won't be able to realize all that growth potential without talent, said Activision Blizzard CEO. So stop firing everybody. Like, this has always been a problem, right? They lay off, like, what, 500 people a year, whatever, some crazy number. And to retain and attract the talent we need, we obviously have to recognize as the very best place to work. Yeah. This means we have to be the most welcoming and inclusive environment. But you do have to be welcoming and inclusive. You also have to fix massive pay issues for software developers in gaming, okay? Gaming, like, game developers on like the entry level don't make anywhere near what other developers make. You're gonna have to fix that first as well. Like, you're gonna have to fix pay, you're gonna have to fix diversity, you're gonna have to fix work-life balance. Like, everyone's heard of the crunch hours that people have to do to, like, towards the like end of a life cycle of a game or towards the new release of a game. It's crazy, right? You have to fix a lot more than just diversity if you want to get better developers. According to Kotick, the changes and initiatives announced so far are just the beginning. Yeah, just the beginning, I'm sure, of the company's plans, and employees and shareholders will receive quarterly updates on progress. Okay, so those were the two articles. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think I'm dumb? Like, you tell me whatever you want. But I think Blizzard is seeing a lot of issues because harassment, because lawsuits, because investor pullout, because a whole bunch of reasons. I think a lot of women are leaving because of these lawsuits, because of like their own personal things that they've had to deal with at the company. And I think that the co-lead of Activision Blizzard, or of just Blizzard, sorry, the co-lead Oneal left because she wants to pursue her own thing, and maybe isn't because she sees the writing on the wall. But I can see a world where it is, and I just think that I'm going to take her at her face value here. I don't have any reason not to believe her, so that's my opinion. Again, let me know what you think down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. I love to cover anything. If you have some ideas for other things that you find interesting that you think I should cover, let me know. I'll check them out. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Peace.